following video is based on true events. Only the person's locations and things that happened have been changed. Here is a man wittering on about his blue beetle on a phone in the wrong orientation.
Yeah, this definitely isn't a chaotic way to start Saturday. The lights are off because they're in that box ready to be painted. I've got the alternator belt ready to go on, but the nut I have doesn't seem to want to fit. And then when I wanted to try it again, I've lost the damn thing, so yeah. I do remember it being somewhere within this chaos on here. That looks like enough that might work. No. Got M10 versus M12. Yeah, so I've got an alternator at home. If not, trip the screw fix, 10 quid's worth of very expensive nuts. Have to buy a pack of 100 for one. Belt alternator thingy, all that joyous stuff's on there. I've got a spare alternator at home, got stuff ready to be painted in there. I've also got some carpets at home, but nothing to do with them at the moment. I do need to tidy this up. I've got the wiring a bit better. A couple of things to do in here. Just little bit of wiring up behind the gauge, but and that window winder's still being a dick. This one also a dick, but I wound it up. I'll have to try winding it down and up a few times. These window winders are bloody awful. I mean, to a blind man on a galloping horse, that's spot on. I've painted some rear fittings on the back. It just needs a number plate, which I'm trying to find, because they were where that red bag to the right of the screen is, and they've been annoying us for about 2 months. The minute I need them, they're buggered off. Right behind that red bag. But yeah, apart from the seal, which I've lost, that is a finished back end. The next thing in arts and craft is these grills. They do need something behind them so that they don't just see into the boot. And obviously because I'm using a craft knife, I've injured myself. So I've been cutting these out. These fit behind there, and then it'll go in under the dash, into the dash, sorry. We've done our arts and crafts, and I've fitted the glove box lid and the two grills. Still need an ashtray, that needs to go on the list. Something to fill that hole. It's just one bit of the puzzle left to go. And it's not much, but it's something. The last bit of stuff I painted last weekend onto the car. I do need to work out how I'm going to put the number plate on, but it's a challenge for another day. Another day, another little job done. I've been faffing on with the dashboard. Let's have a look at it. As you can see, I've fitted some LED illuminations. If I turn the key, those lights come on. Telltale for the indicator. The needle has moved slightly. That blue light works. We just shut the power off. You can't really see the needle, but it does work. I've tested it. So that's another one off the list. This is the next bit of progress. I've given it a bit of a hoover out. It doesn't look like it, but I have. I'll probably come and give the floors a wipe over before I put the carpet down, but overall quite happy that it's now tidier than it was. So now, battery off, that in there, door shut. I'm gonna pop it in forwards, I think. Okay, the other thing that I've grown to like about the car, I'll just collect the battery up, there we go. Yeah, the other thing I've grown to like about the car, neutral. The oil pressure light's out. That's the generator light because the belt is very slack. Amazon sells very slack generator. Yep, that did it itself. On the button again. Yeah. So in here, I've got to get a strip for there. I've got to remember to bring that. But yeah, glove box opens and closes. Lights working. Still, that looks good. Wipers. Yeah, you've got to have that. Yep. Hazards. Obviously if you turn the ignition off, still get the hazards. And the light horn, I fitted it down here because I couldn't get that working, but I'm not bothered because I like it. Works there. I'm going to get some petrol so that I can test the fuel gauge, because the fuel gauge is definitely moving but not much. I need an ashtray for there, need that hole for there, so once I get a hole for there that'll be good. I mean, it's got the tabs to bend over once I get a hole in there. That's usually a cigarette lighter, but it seems very small for one, so I don't know what's going to go there. What I would quite like to do is make a little panel that goes in there that has like the charging stuff. It's the times like these I wish I knew about 3D printing. Now that looks like a dodgy wire, but trust as it isn't, I just reused a rear light thing. That actually works, but I haven't got any water in, so it sounds a bit sad. That door's fully working. The window winder is a bit tight, but it is what it is. That window winder doesn't work. Still needs, yeah, all the door rubbers and stuff's been changed, so it is very tight. So yeah. Oh yeah, I need to add seat belts to my list. If things I haven't got. Yeah. So our next task is, well, it's the carpets. Now I'm leaving some of that underlay in place because it's more of a mess to take it out than leave it in. I've been cutting some bits. I'm just going to stick it down. I'm going to stick one bit of underlay along there, one along there, and one on the back. And then I've got the carpet pieces to go in as well. Okay, so I've cut the underlay down to shape, and I've fitted that, and that. Now it needs a bit more sticky down up in the top, but it's okay. Now this is the awkward bit. Worked out where the gear stick goes, where the handbrake goes. I can't really take the handbrake off easily, but I will take the gear stick off, put the carpet down, and then bolt it back in. Stick this bit down first, get this nice enough, because we'll put a gaiter on it, and then get the rest of it down, and then that is probably the most awkward bit until I find something worse. So we've got this central tunnel is done. I'm going to have to work out what to do around the handbrake and the gear stick. Best with the light on. The front bit needs straightening out, but it's okay. That I've just thrown over there because I think it's for that side. There's not too much left to do. I do think I want to get some black screws or something to sort of tack the carpet down properly. So I think it's going to be a case of get what I can in position and work out what to use. But yeah, that's looking good. the less I do with this carpet kit, the less I like it. I mean, that I would have thought would have been so that there'd be a width that would go from door corner to door corner and then slightly up the sill, but no. It actually goes like part the way across the door corner. So I've got it stuck to the sill. I know there's like a little thing that you're meant to bend over it, but it's not working that well. And what I've done there is I've stuck it down in the corner. I'll do similar on that side, and then I'm going to work out how to push that corner in. That bit there still needs straightened out, but you see, if I can get them cut to the right size and pretty much there. I mean, the big issue here was there wasn't an arch for the central tunnel there, so I don't know what I was expected to do there. But yeah, it's going to look better than it being bare, but nah, I'm not impressed with these carpets at all. You can see that one isn't even the width of the door either. This, you can see there, does need to push in, but there's other carpet there. Be well insulated. Right, I've got this a little bit better behind here. I've used a clip, used another clip there. I'm going to do similar over there where it's all floppy. It's a lot better. I wouldn't say it's perfect. In fact, that can go up into there, and then that's held in position. That side there it's hanging down a bit, but it's held in position. Don't think the rest of the mats is going to be too bad. I'm going to see how much time I've got left on the generator or the battery or whatever it is I have. And that is as good as it's going to get. Not awfully happy with that edge, but too late to sort anything now. Can you see in the back of my car what I'm doing today? I've got a box of things that are basically the last little bits and bobs before I get another section of last little bits and bobs. I've also got some seats. The seats are going in this weekend. I'm going to call this the last weekend of restoration before we're just doing like finishing touches and fine tuning. Yes, there's a few jobs definitely left to go, but they're not big and they're not actually making as big a physical difference as putting seats in. But I've also got another box there, if you can see behind us, which is a box of parts I bought off the internet this week that is basically the finishing touches. Okay, for the first thing I've done, I've put that beam in which holds the bottom of the seat. The next thing I've got to do is I've got to put the back seat in, which pivots on there, and a similar hole over there which has a nut that goes in it with the other pivot, so it slots in there, then you put the bolt in and it's there. Then the other one just pushes in. So let's get that done. Of course, it would be great if some bastard hadn't torch there. Welded a plate over the hole I need to put it into. Joy. Okay, so that's done. I've put a riv nut on there. I'm not 100% sure that that should be the way it's done, but it's the way it's done here for the moment. So we've got that pivot there, got the whole seat on, and hopefully, I know I say this with my fingers crossed, hopefully, because everything else should have been simple, but it's been a fight. The rest of the seat just slots in. Well, at least that went right. So that is the back seat in. Obviously that rear thing does need a paint, so it will be coming out again. Let's just get and sit into it now. So yeah, nice and comfy in the back here. The seat isn't as good a condition as I thought it was, but it just needs a clean and a small amount of repair, but it is what it is. Don't have any front seats yet. I do have other things I need to do before I start faffing with the front seats, mainly because one of the front seats is about 40 miles away. Obviously the trim quick clips that I got to put the flash across aren't the right ones, so I'm going to have to work out which ones to buy and buy them. I've got a glove box lid catch on, and I've got the button things on, so the buttons are finished. That's something good. And the other things I need to do is a belt on the back of the car, and the speedo cable, and the two front seats. One of which is there, the other one is going to arrive tomorrow, so I may as well put them both in tomorrow, because I'm sick of today, but we have a seat. Okay, so I have put the seat there in. Now if you look here, there's like some little plastic sleeves that go over the runners. I put them on this side. They were already on that side because there was a seat in it. Also greased them so that it's not hideously difficult to slide the seat into place, in theory. Less than 5 minutes later, we are sat in the passenger seat of the car. Got back seats. We've got driver seat. We've got these. Still need to work out what I'm going to do with that and that. Quite tempted to try some 3D printing for those. This is my functional glove box. Needs some feet because it's a bit bouncy, but yeah. The chrome trims are on order because these ones here are the wrong ones and don't fit those clips. I'm going to keep them for the next one, or the other one, that one there. could do with a vent for that, but realistically, what's the point when it's not got heating? I want to get some form of charger put into it, possibly I'm tempted to put a screen in for Bluetooth. They can be connected at a future date to a car stereo or something like that. Centre of the steering wheel fell off. It keeps falling off, so I'm going to try and get something to replace that centre with or repair it. Door cards aren't fitted because that window winder still doesn't work. This one's very stiff, that one just doesn't work. Shall we have a look at it on the outside? Well, yes, you've already seen it, but yeah. Let's see, inside there's still tools and there's still a light that's on. From the front, I want to get some different brackets for the bumper, though I may just modify what I've got because it's a bit too close there and they're not pointing in the right direction. The car is looking the same on this side as the other side. Does need a clean, but if you've seen my other car, it's not worth it at the minute. This may not be the finished product, but it's a car. It runs, it drives, has a few little bits that it needs, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the restoration over. It's now onto the fine tuning phase, doing the bits that need to be done to finish it and work out what else it needs.
Yes, this may not be perfect at the moment. This is subject to a fair bit of change. I'm not 100% happy with the bumper. It does need a little bit of paint correction here and there. There's obviously bits missing, hasn't got seat belts, still needs its speedo cable and its alternator belt, and a few other things which I'm sure you'll be able to point out. However, it also needs to be tested, run, and put in front of a competent mechanic to advise on anything that needs doing to it. However, needs must, and I've got the rest of the fleet that I've been neglecting for the last year that I need to, get on with, which I'm going to do over the winter. So if you've enjoyed this little journey, like, comment and subscribe, and return for the next Fixing Assets.